Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to see you here today. This is the usual every Thursday, 8:30, people, travel, and culture. And I always looking forward for this time of the week where we get to share about traveling experience. Last week, we have a great chat. We have one of our good friend, Trudy from Salzburg. You know what? Since that Salzburg video was played on our Facebook, I know in my mind, the music or the song of Sound of Music, Do Re Mi, has been ringing in my ear. And not just me, you know, my daughter, 3 years old daughter, has been singing Do Re Mi every day. It's from the morning till the evening. Definitely, we have a great time with Trudy, talking about Sound of Music, talking about Salzburg, talking about travel. And this week, I have another very interesting place to share with all our travelers. This, to me, is a hidden gem. You know, the name of this country is Montenegro, and the capital is Kotor. You know, from the name Kotor, you know, a lot of us Malaysians are quite familiar with this word in our Bahasa Malaysia. You know, when I first hear the word Kotor, when I first hear the country Montenegro, I was not very impressed, to be frank. And how we found out this country. I still remember years ago, we organized our first trip to Croatia. And we usually will board our ferry to Dubrovnik. But out of a sudden, we received an email 1 month before the departure where the ferry company told us, instead of boarding the ferry to Dubrovnik, we have to change our port to Montenegro. We were quite panicked initially when we received the email. But after we read up about the country, after we read up about the capital city called Kotor, I think I told all my travelers, let's give it a try. Let's make it a great trip. So what we did is we changed our schedule a little bit, and we fixed in the country of Montenegro, the capital of Kotor. And you know what? Since our first trip to Montenegro, oh, I really enjoyed myself. I met a good friend of mine, Zoran, in Montenegro. And after I come back from the trip, I told all my travelers, I told our company partners that we must include Montenegro in our future itinerary. And since then, we've been doing a lot of trips that covers from Bosnia to Montenegro, Montenegro to Croatia, and also to Slovenia. You know, the response of this trip is really good. We have a great time. And today, I'm so glad to invite Zoran to share with us a little bit about Montenegro, a little bit about Kotor. And to me, one thing that really inspired me about Montenegro, you will find out later in the video. Without any further delay, let's go to Kotor, Montenegro. Hi, Zoran. How are you doing?
Hi, Josh. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Greetings from Europe, from Montenegro. Very good. Very good. Thank you. How are you?
So I'm doing good. You know, I miss traveling a lot, and I miss you so much. You know, I was just sharing with my travelers. You know, when I first arrived in Montenegro, you know, when I first went to Montenegro, it was kind of an accident. We actually, our intention is to go to Dubrovnik, but you know, we received an email from the cruise company that they changed the port. So, you know, by accident, I visited Montenegro, and I first met you, you know, and the impression that you gave me for the first time changed my mind. Since then, I told my company, and I told all the travelers when we visit the southern part of Europe, one of the countries we must visit is Montenegro.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to have you with us. You remember that?
I remember. Yeah, of course. It was like a kind of adventure, you know, because you arrive in the port of Bar on the south. Yeah. So
yes.
with from Italy, yeah, as far as I remember. So it was a good fun, a nice morning. So we drove around the coast, you know, so visit few places, Sveti Stefan, Kotor. And impression was very well, you know, very good, you know, and a nice, good vibe. And yeah, I remember.
Oh, I remember, you know, my impression of Montenegro changed after the first visit. You know, it was really a memorable time. And by the way, just curious, how's the situation in Montenegro now with the pandemic?
Well, it's getting better. I can tell you, it's you know, it's picking up. First was a bit slow because, you know, vaccines it took time, and Montenegro, it's you know, somehow between the European Union and you know, so took a time, but now it's picking up. So we got vaccines. So I think in another month everything gonna be you know, more or less ready for a season, for a tourist season. I can tell you one thing. So our government recommended, so each person who works in the tourism to wear a badge, you know, so vaccinated, wear a badge. So everything gonna be ready very soon.
You mean in a month's time, the foreigners are able to visit Montenegro? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct, correct.
Wow, that's so good. You are ready for the summer.
Yes, absolutely. You know, because that's the thing. We do depend a lot of tourism. You know, it's a small country, but we do, and the only way to, you know, to adjust to this situation is to give the best, to provide a service, to provide health, you know, whatever measures. So it's already open toward the neighboring countries. Yeah. So Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia, Albania, everybody can already, also some European countries, but for Asian, I believe in a month time, it's going to be open as well.
Wow, that's very good news for today.
Yes.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me
So,
too.
you know, to be very frank, a lot of Malaysians, or I would say a lot of Southeast Asia people have not heard of this country, Montenegro. Maybe can you share with us a little bit of a history and a short introduction of Montenegro?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few let's say facts about Montenegro. So it's very tiny country, yeah. So one of the smallest countries in Europe, and used to be the smallest actually republic of Yugoslavia, because old Yugoslavia was composed out of 6 republics. So Montenegro was the smallest one, and it is still small country. We have like a 600,000 people only, so very small, very
Wow,
very
only
tiny.
600,000.
Not big, but it's interesting. The thing is, on Montenegro for a few days you can see a lot of stuff. You can see for a short amount of time a lot of things. So that's the major advantage of Montenegro. So if we are talking
Nice.
about history from 15th century, let's say was independent, and then depends, was a part of Yugoslavia, was again independent, part of Kingdom of Yugoslavia, then Socialist Republic, and 2006 again independent.
Interesting. And one thing I'm very impressed is that Montenegro actually carried the title, the Southern Fjord of Europe. And maybe you can explain to us why is it carry the title, the most southern fjord of Europe?
Well, the thing is, this as a show again, my map is coming up. Yeah.
Wow.
So you see this fjord. Yeah. So this is we are talking about. So Bay of Kotor. Yeah. So it's actually
interesting.
That's why it's called, because it's completely natural. It's 28 nautical miles, and you see it's a shape. It's very interesting. It's called, Italian call it Bocca di Cataro, mouth of Kotor, yeah, because Kotor is here, yeah. And another synonym was lungomare, lungs of the sea, because of the shape of the lungs, yeah.
Wow.
So really unique.
Unique and beautiful. And I heard that you're also a photographer. You were so impressed to see some of the photos you took of Montenegro.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I am. I am a photographer, and I like to take a picture. You know, it's the thing is with photography. So every picture is unique. Yeah, there is no two same pictures. So every moment is unique. So once when you take a photo, so that's it. Especially with the people, that moment is you know held,
it's captured.
And that's it. It's unique. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. And I'm so privileged. During one of our tour together, you took some photo of me, and I'm really impressed with that. You know, I love the view of wow. I love the view. You know, I still remember the photo that we took in front of the clock tower, right in the city center of Koto. Maybe you can tell us a little bit of the history of the clock tower.
Yeah. So once when you enter the Kotor, first basically site is the clock tower. Yeah. So it's really nice. So it's from 17th century. So basically work of the Venetians. So Venetians had let's say the longest rule of Kotor through more than 300 years. Yeah. So there is a lot of touch of Venice, of Italian style, let's put that way, in Kotor. So clock tower, it's, let's say, on the main square. Yeah. So it's leaning a little bit because of the earthquake. Yeah. So earthquake Kotor was 2 times hit by the earthquake in the early, and the 3rd time in the 1979. So that's why. Yeah.
And
but the clock is still working correctly, so it's
wow. I still remember when I first walked into the town of Koto, I felt, it was so magical. It was so interesting because it looks very different. I've been to many parts of Europe, but that gave me a different feel of the vibe of the country. I enjoy the town of Koto very much.
I agree completely with you, because actually the size, we are talking about size is good enough, so you can do it for a longer period, but you can do for a short period of time, so that's the main advantage of Montenegro and the Kotor as well. So you can see and you can do a lot of things for a relatively short amount of time.
I see. And on top of that, actually, when I read about Koto, I find quite interesting that the town of Koto is also a moat. Maybe you can explain to us a little bit, what is this moat about?
Yeah, so it's surrounded with a moat. Yeah, so with let's say in the past, Kotor was almost completely 90% surrounded with the water. Yeah, because of defensive purpose. We are talking about the fortress. Yeah, so town of Kotor is basically one fortress, and inside we have those buildings, and surrounded with a moat. And also there is upper walls of Kotor. Yeah, so there is basically fortress on the 2 levels. And regarding the moat, yeah, now it's of course approach is completely different. But I saw the, let's say, old photograph, let's say 100 years ago. Yeah, believe or not, on the main entrance where we enter usually was a beach. Yeah.
What's a beach?
Yes. So next time when you come, I'm gonna make sure you see that photo. I'm gonna find that photo for you. Very interesting, So Austro-Hungarians who was ruling the Kotor in that time, so was laying on the beach in front of the main entrance. Very interesting.
I see. And so that when we walk into the town of Koto, right before we walk in, there is a city gate. Is that right?
Yeah, there is 3 gates basically in Kotor. So North Gate, South Gate, and Main Gate, also called Sea Gate. Yeah, because as we mentioned, so Kotor was surrounded with the water, with the sea, before, long time ago. So three
it was
gates.
surrounded.
Yes.
With the when you say water is surrounded by sea, not channel. Is it canal or is it sea?
So seaside in the front, yeah. So river of Škurda on the left side, and there is a pond on the right side. So let's say 2 types of fresh water on the north and south gate, and in the front is the sea. So that's why it's interesting.
Because that's interesting.
Yeah, in the Bay of Kotor, again my map is coming up. Yeah, you see in the Bay of Kotor it's surrounded with the mountains. Yeah, so that's the thing. So all fresh water from the mountains coming into sea. So that's why it's very quality of the water in the Bay of Kotor. It's very good.
I see. Okay, and when I still remember there is a very interesting landmark in the Koto town, which is the church. It's a very interesting. It has a very interesting history. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the church in the Koto town.
Oh yes, there is a few churches. So I'm going to mention. I think I know what you mean. You mean on the Lady of the Remedy above the Kotor. But I would like to mention the Church of Cathedral of Saint Tripun. Yeah. So Church of Saint Nicholas and Lady of the Remedy. So let's say Lady of the Remedy. It's situated above. Yeah, so I mentioned the Kotor was on the 2 levels, so above the, let's say the main fortress, and it's from 15th century, so was a plague. Yeah, so Kotor was affected by the plague, and those who survived the plague, they built a church. Yeah, there was praying to the Lady of the Remedy, so basically Saint Mary, to save their lives, to spare the lives. So those who survived, so a lot of those kind of churches in the Bay of Kotor. Yeah, so people was much more religious in that time. They are still, I can tell, even now they are still, especially even now with pandemic. I can tell you a lot of people are visiting churches, praying to the, because it's a it's a nature of the person, of the people.
I see. So that give me the feeling of what we are experiencing now, a plague, a
Yes,
pandemic.
I agree. So you see, no matter technology, we think we ruled, but no, it's always some force. You can call it, universum or God or any kind. So we need to be grateful, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good wisdom there. I like that.
Yeah,
That's very good. And
yeah.
besides that, how about the cathedral? Is there some interesting history of the cathedral as well?
Of cathedral.
Yeah.
Of Cathedral of Saint Tripun, yes, absolutely. So that's one of the oldest churches. Yeah, so basically from 9th century, we are talking about the roots, and then 12th century, what we see now. So 12th century cathedral. So 2 bell towers inside remains of the Saint Tripun. So he was the saint, recognized by the Christian church, and let's say not just a church, but also was a city hall at some point in history of Kotor, and some decisions was meeting place. So when we talk about churches, it have multiple role in the past. Every church, because people not just praying to the God, but also meeting each other, so discussing something, so have a much more important role in the past. And I say again, even now, again, when the like this experience with pandemic, people, still, getting and praying and meeting each other. So that's the thing.
I see. Interesting. And you know what? After our first trip to Montenegro with a group of our travelers, I went home and I did some research. I find that it's so important for us to give a bit more time and visit not just the town of Kotor, but also a very interesting place by the name of, I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, Peras. Is that right?
That's very good. That's correct. Yeah. So Peras, it's also another interesting place. It's not too far from Kotor. It's only 20 minutes drive. It's smaller than Kotor. It's completely on the seaside. Yeah. So let's say also there is a two islands just nearby the Peras. Yeah. So Lady of the Rock. We usually visit Lady of the Rock. It's a very nice church on the small island, and actually the island is made by the people of Perast.
Wow.
So took them 200 years to make the island. Yeah. So only one rock was popping up from the sea, and it's a short legend about 2 fishermen who saw the picture of Madonna on that rock, and they say it's a miracle from the god. Yeah. So they decide, people of Peras would decide to build the island. So 200 years putting the rocks around that one, bringing more. and then
Wow.
church finally, was started to be built completed again in the 17th century. So
What
Lady
an
of the Rock,
interesting story.
Paris, very nice, yeah.
Wow, I cannot believe it. One of the things I encourage all my travelers who visit Montenegro to drop by in Paras town and to see for themselves. In fact, we actually took the boat. I still remember there's a boat ride from Paras town to the island. Is that right?
Correct.
What's the name of the island? Sorry.
Lady of the Rock.
Lady of the Rock. Wow.
Yeah.
And I still remember
Lady.
there's a story where everybody who took a boat to the island is supposed to bring a rock over, right?
Yeah, if it's possible, because you keep tradition, we are talking about more than 500 years of tradition. So if you leave a rock over there, so that's the way. Actually, there is one date during the year, one time during the year in summertime, people of Paris going around, So from their little boats, they are putting the rocks. So that's how whatever sea wash during the year. So one day people of Paris to replace it. But also if you are tourist, if you are coming, you are more than welcome to
bring a rock
participate with a small rock. Yeah.
I see. I like that. And now I still remember, we have a very interesting lunch just by the town of Paras, overlook the beautiful island, the beautiful scenery. It was so memorable. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the interesting restaurant in Paras town.
Yes. Actually, you made an excellent choice. So Conte is the name of the restaurant. Very nice. It's on the seaside, yeah. And you see those beautiful islands. You see the part of Bay of Kotor. So it's perfect. Food is also very good. So it's a small town, so you can take a quick walk around. So it's a small square as well. Beautiful food. Also, you have nice selection of food. And I do recommend a Paras cake. Yeah, so it's a special cake made by the people of Paras in the past. So ladies of Paras, women of Paras, was making that cake for a sailors. Yeah, so it's tasty, and it's also able to stay fresh for a long time. Yeah, so it's a quality made out of almonds. Yeah, so we have almonds, we have vanilla, and we have a lemon. So very, very, very nice, very tasty.
And with lots of love.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that. And there's another place that I saw on your photo. That is a very interesting place that we are really would like to add into our itinerary by the name of Sveti Stefan. Is that right?
Yes, very good, very good. Yeah, Sveti Stefan is beautiful, absolutely stunning. So one of the hot spots, even in Yugoslavian time. Yeah. So we are talking about small, basically peninsula. Yeah. So small village, small peninsula. So in the past used to be fisherman village and used to be a refugee for women and children in the case of some disaster, war. But let's say in the time of Yugoslavia, Yugoslavian authorities decided to turn entire peninsula into one hotel. Yeah. So for let's say now almost 70 years, it's like one hotel. Beautiful view we had when we stopped for our photos, and now belongs to the Aman Resort. Yeah, so part of Aman Resort. So for 20 years they rented the island, so it's like one hotel. Many celebrities was coming, many Hollywood stars. I can mention, let's say, #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic. He got married there like a few years ago. Yeah.
Croatian, right?
Serbian. Yeah.
Oh, Serbian. Okay. I like that. Okay. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about the, but by the way, just curious, how much is it per night to stay a night in Sveti?
I think starting like a 700 euros per night, starting between 700 and 2,500. That used to be my last information. So it's completely it's completely restricted. So we can see it from outside. It's possible to use the beach. It's possible to be close, but you cannot exactly enter because those people paying the money to have some privacy. So that's the way it is.
And I would like to share with all our travelers, one thing that that make me very impressed with Montenegro is, I still remember before I visited Montenegro, in my mind, I'm so sorry to say that, I thought it was a bit what you call that, undeveloped. It was a very
Yes.
it was just a not a very interesting country. But
Yeah.
my first impression when I arrived in Montenegro, that really gave me a very wow moment is that when we do a toilet break in one of a town by the name of Budva, is that right? A port,
Yeah.
Budva. And
Buda.
I've been to many parts of the world, and I've seen big what you call that cruise ship or big yacht in Paris or in many parts of the world. But when I was in Budva, I saw those yacht, and those are super yacht, very very nice yacht. That really changed my perspective of Montenegro.
Yes, I agree. So that's another advantage I can say, so if the tourists come to Montenegro, they can see nice blend of the history and the future, basically, of technology. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's say in some point, I can say we still struggle to pick up some new technologies, some modern, I don't know, transportation or whatever. But the people, what you experience, actually people trying to step up and to give to be a good host, to help tourists. Yeah, so that's why it's really really good experience. Yeah, so
Yeah.
everybody are welcome, absolutely.
I still remember you told me the exact word when I first met you. You say Montenegro is so beautiful, is so interesting that the whole world, the Germans, the French, the Austrians, they want to visit. And in fact, they took it like a holiday home for them with
Yes,
their yacht,
that's true. That's true. As I said, because it's 21st century, everybody cares about to do as much as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. No
That's
matter
true.
if it's a work or if it's a vacation or any sort of activity. So that's why again it's advantage to come to Montenegro. If you like to work, you can do a lot of stuff in the short. If you like to rest, you can also do the visit to the mountains, visit the lake, visit the seaside, whatever you like.
I see. And just before we say goodbye, maybe you can share with us a little bit of the culture of Montenegrin. You have some
Yes,
interesting culture of the Montenegrin.
yes, it's interesting. Let's say the originally Montenegro, it's again my map. it's let's
Wow.
say mountain country. Yeah. So let's say in the past, people gather together to help each other because we are talking about the mountain area. Yeah. So let's say it's a nice tradition called Moba. Yeah. So people was able, because one village, let's say everybody needs to pick up the crop in the same part of the year. Yeah. So in the way for entire community to do so, it's you call others for a help. So everybody do one day, everybody helping you, and then next day you are helping them. So that's how everybody finish their agricultural work in the short amount of time. Yeah. So that's like nice tradition.
I
So
see.
also singing with a gusle. Yeah, so it's a musical instrument, only one string, but a lot of stories. So only way to because in that time a lot of people wasn't so literal, wasn't so educated. So only way to remember the history was to sing the songs with a gusle. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So through the songs, history was passed from the generation to generation. So gusle is important for history.
And you mentioned there's this 10 commandment of Montenegrin as well.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Yeah, so that's another thing. So we are laid back country. So everything needs to be relaxed. Everything needs to go slowly. So I have with me 10 Montenegrins commandment. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
So
interesting.
about to take it easy, so not to work too hard. Yeah. So my favorite is number 5. Yeah. Number 5 commandment says, if you see someone is resting, help him. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. If you see someone is resting, help him. I
Yes,
see.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah,
So,
so that's another promise. So those tourists who come, they're going to take it easy. So no rush in Montenegro, no pressure. Whatever you do, you need to relax. Yeah.
oh, that's nice. That's what we need to hear in the midst of pandemic. Just relax, just chill, and it will pass very soon.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice talking to you, Zoran, and I'm so glad to see you today. And looking forward to see you in the future in Montenegro, and definitely whenever we organize a trip to southern part of Europe, Montenegro is definitely the country to visit. Thank you very much for your time, and I see you same time, and I see you again.
Thank you, Josh. My pleasure. Greetings to East Europe. Thank you very much. Everybody are welcome. Enjoy, and see you again. Thank you,
Thank
East
you.
Europe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're still with us. I'm so glad that you walked through with us the tour that we have, the virtual tour that we have with Zoran to Koto to Montenegro. I hope you have a good time. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. In fact, one of the best things that happened in this pandemic is I get to achieve my dream. When I first started Easy Europe, I told Sulin that I have a dream. I would love to organize travel show. I always watch a travel channel in the TV, and I always dream of one day I get to host a travel channel, to talk about travel. And through this pandemic, I'm able to achieve my dream. And I thank you all our travelers so much. Thanks for your support to spend time with me every week where we travel to different parts of the world. And I would like to share with you a little bit where we are going to next week. I have been reading about the country by the name of Finland for a long time. And we used to organize our Northern Light Hunt trip to Finland and to Helsinki after our Northern Light Hunt experience. And I met a very good friend of mine by the name of Cornelia. And I'm so glad that next week we get to interview Cornelia, where we're going to talk about Finland, we're going to talk about Helsinki, and most important thing, we're going to find out from Cornelia more about why Finland is rated the #1 country in the world when it comes to children education, and they are also one of the very highly rated country with very good score when it comes to something very interesting, which is happiness. Can you imagine? Finnish are now rated the happiest people in the world. Do you want to find out why is Finnish so happy? Stay tuned next week, same time, same place in our People, Travel and Culture. Thank you very much. See you next week.